Since Modern Warfare 3 is only available on early release, not early access, I refuse to call it that, and only contains the campaign, I completed all the single player achievements and the game on veteran difficulty, so I did 100% the game as it is now. So now let's discuss if this $100 early release is worth the price, and this review will obviously contain major spoilers, but I doubt a lot of people even care at this point. The narrative here is to stop Makarov as he attempts to trick the world's superpowers, the US and Russia, into another global conflict. Those familiar with the original Modern Warfare trilogy will notice how poorly this version of the narrative is done. Clearly a rush job by the writers to make the ultra-extremist into a Marvel-like villain. Instead of an intelligent and insane person, here Makarov acts like a parody. Take this scene here where during a plane hijacking, he explains the entire plan in great detail to a person who is about to die.
You exceeded my expectations today.
What do you think you are?
This is about who you are, Samara.
What is this?
History.
Get this off me, you fucking son of a bitch!
Shh. You will be a hero for what you're doing here, Samara.
No one will believe you. I am not a terrorist.
No. You're a citizen soldier inspired by Farah Karim to fight Russia. A hero freedom fighter.
You're Russian. This plane is full of Russians. How could you kill your own people?
No, I'm not killing them. You are.
Мы ниже 8000 футов, командир.
Лев в Узбекистане, Самара.
This isn't meant for the woman, this is a summary dump for the player. Now, let's compare this to the original where Makarov just shoots the player after committing terrorism.
Message to this attack, Makarov.
That was no message. This is a message.
The Americans thought he could deceive us. When they find that body, all of Russia will cry for war.
There are little words exchanged here to showcase his intimidation and intense nature. Hell, when you encounter the man for the first time, it looks like he came out of a 5-star spa, not a prison. Doesn't mean the entire narrative is poorly executed. Some scenes like when Ghost and Soap are interrogating a wanted suspect is great. These are situations that are, however, a diamond inside a very, very large desert. The narrative constantly jumps from situation to situation, highlighting the fractured nature of the campaign. For example, you make a leap from a mission to capture Makarov's second-in-command to securing a prison who turns out to be General Shepard. Like, how did he even get there or end up in this position? And why didn't Makarov's men just kill him? Shepard is also an idiot here. Unlike the conniving general who used his patriotism to create a dogmatic nationalism within the United States that mirrored Makarov in a lot of ways, the guy comes off as a fool in this version. In one of the game's finale missions, he and Graves are on trial for treason and terrorism, but Shepard, in his infinite wisdom, decided to never record his messages with Graves, allowing Graves to deny any involvement in the first game, despite all the bodies he left behind, along with witnesses like Ghost, Price, Soap, and even Vargas, who is a colonel within the Mexican army who saw everything that transpired in Mexico. Heck, they could even get Farah on trial, who received missiles from General Shepard. So I'm just really confused about how this even came into being. Philip Graves is actually an interesting person here. Farah, despite learning of what he did to Price and his men, still decides to work for him because she's putting her country first. This would have been a great opportunity to create friction between Price and Farah, whether he could trust her or that Farah would put her own country above everything else in the mission, even the greater good for other people. This could have been a great opportunity to have Price see her as a threat. This guy attempted to kill everyone on Shepard's order, and they just still decide to work alongside his mercenaries, even calling on him for support. I know they're working with him for the greater good, but still, there could have been a little more fleshed out situations here. There was just so much opportunity to not only make this version of Modern Warfare 3 story different, but also create some actual tension. Farah and Price were ripe for some conflict and even close calls. During the mission Payload, Price and Farah infiltrate a base to recover stolen missiles. However, they can't stop the launch and must instead cover the blast doors, resulting in the base getting filled with toxic gas and making sure that no one gets hurt. Shockingly, Farah survives this suicidal mission without context of how she got out, which would have been a great opportunity to showcase Farah either dying or sacrificing something great in order to ensure the success. Actual consequences with profound characters dying for causes they believe in, unlike the finale, which is just idiotic. I already put spoilers into this review and warned people, so I'm just going to convey the stupidity of this. Soap and Price are disabling a bomb in the final mission just when Makarov appears. Instead of just killing them both with a single headshot to both of them, he monologues. Why do you monologue? Soap then comes up from a fatal wound from the neck and then gets shot in the head. When I said Makarov is just a modern Marvel villain, it's not enough that he does horrible things. He needs everyone to know who he is and what he's planning, like an egotistic idiot. Like, there's no reason for any of this. In fact, during the first mission, one of his allies basically goes against his orders in a very lukewarm way, deciding to shut down the elevator and wait for backup. Makarov takes this as a disloyal action, and you know what he does? He saves the guy from a helicopter attack. I don't get that. If you intend to kill this person to showcase his disloyal nature, why would you go the extra mile to save him? Just let him die right there. And you could just say, this is what happens when you don't follow my plan. You end up like him, and it would actually install more faith into Makarov and his men, showing that he was right from the beginning. But when you kill him in front of everyone, it doesn't create loyalty. It actually creates more fear, because now you have people thinking, if I don't do exactly what this guy says, even if you are somehow in the right, he will still kill you for just going against him, which doesn't really make him a great leader or an extremist. It just makes him as an unhinged idiot who's just like, I want everyone to say yes to everything I'm doing. He's not even a great planner. Like I said, at the last minute, he comes to stop Soap and Price from disarming his bomb, and instead of killing them immediately, he just monologues. Like, nothing about this guy is shown to be smart. He just comes off as an edgy teenager. He needs people to know that he's intelligent, so that's why he keeps expressing his entire plan to everyone. You're probably wondering why I haven't talked about Soap or Price or Ghost or any of those characters. Is because they don't really do anything. They are the same character from Modern Warfare 2. Nothing really happens, and they're just there for the sake of the story. Like, nothing really happens in this story. And the poor quality of the narrative spills over to the gameplay. Trust me, this is one of the worst Call of Duty games they ever released. Heck, I would even say Black Ops 4's single player, that whole tutorial multiplayer segment, was better than what we got here. Okay, where do I start here? The opening mission starts off with some promise. It's a linear covert operation with a lot of Michael Bay-like action. It's your standard Call of Duty mission, and the execution is fine. Nothing we haven't seen before, but a good starting point. It's the second mission where things start to take a nosedive. The second mission introduces the first of many open conflict missions. These are just DMZ missions with just NPCs and no active players. You collect equipment and weapons on the field while you complete multiplayer themed objectives like destroying helicopters or disarming bombs. It's comical because the first time you play these missions, you have to scavenge for necessary equipment such as the Ascender, which should be standard issue. That being said, the first mission within this type of open conflict system wasn't that bad. Farah is ambushed at her base and must scavenge weapons to locate missiles that are being stolen. She cannot fight back, so the best thing she can do is tag the crates for Graves to track. This system is actually a great way to create interactive tutorials, giving the player a playground and told, here's everything you can learn and go and try everything. The second mission is where everything just falls apart. The mission encourages stealth, but they gave me a weapon without a silencer, and I had to find one. Granted, you could replay these missions and you can choose your weapons and gadgets that you find within the field, but still, how the hell does a special operative like Price go into a stealth encouraged mission without a silencer or an ascender? Like, hey, I know you're going into a suicidal mission, but we're on a budget, so just hope that the enemy has the equipment and weapons lying around that you need and you can take it from them. The only open conflict mission I did enjoy was this building mission called High Rise, where you have to find your way to the top of the building. This was actually pretty fun, with multiple opportunities to get to the top. There's also a bomb defusal objective that I thought had a lot of promise. At the end of the game, you have to give instructions to Soap while fending off enemies, and the instructions are hidden within the bomb. Granted, when you replay the mission, it's the same exact situation, and the only thing that changes is the interactive options. However, the best missions in this giant failure of a Call of Duty game were the linear sections. I could see the open conflict missions being fun with friends, but at that point it would just be AI cooperative DMC. And I'm just putting it out there, but Call of Duty World at War and Black Ops 3 both had cooperative campaign multiplayer, so why is that not a standard in Call of Duty games? In fact, this game would have benefited from cooperative multiplayer, similar to those Spec Op missions that a lot of people enjoy. Have one player take on one objective, such as spotting for the player, and the other one having to guide the other player to certain objectives. That would have been great. It doesn't help that the missions encourage stealth. The enemies are brain dead with perfect vision, and once they find you, they'll more or less rush your position with their large numbers. If you don't believe me, here's a prime example of the intelligence of the AI in Modern Warfare 3.
Good shot. No issues. You're clear to proceed.
If you do get into open conflict, the AI calls in backup as more enemies flood into the area. Clearly, this was not balanced and just cobbled together using the same mechanics as DMC's multiplayer. It's so bad that sometimes they place optional equipment inches away from one another. You can't even change the attachments for your weapons, and you have to use a pre-selected option for each weapon. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 gave you the option to not only choose your weapons, but attachments and even perks. So how the hell are we going backwards in this? Come on. Call of Duty has tried stealth-focused missions since Call of Duty 4 within the Modern Warfare franchise to somewhat average acclaim. Here it's the worst, creating the perfect combination of dumb and unbalanced AI alongside with terrible consequences for getting caught simply because the NPC was able to see you across the map. Many of the positive features have been staples within the Call of Duty franchise and not isolated to Modern Warfare 3, from the guns, first-person shooting, visual presentation, and voice acting. There's nothing here that Modern Warfare 3 does specifically that makes it good or stand out from the rest of the franchise. At its core, Modern Warfare 3 is the biggest insult to the legendary franchise. Even if it was released as DLC as intended, this would still be shameful to place such an iconic name as Call of Duty on it. It is in every way an insult to the Call of Duty community. Modern Warfare 3 is DLC sold at full price, and it's not even good DLC. The achievement listing alone combines Modern Warfare 2's achievement system with this game, just to put that into perspective. Heck, PlayStation owners have to literally insert the disc from Modern Warfare 2 to play the campaign. The open conflict missions are cheap DMZ missions with stealth systems that cannot even compare to the PlayStation Metal Gear games. Those games have far superior stealth systems, even the original Deus Ex and so many other you can literally take a dartboard and just hurl it at a bunch of stealth-focused action games, and you'll find something that's superior in every way to Modern Warfare 3's stealth system. It's clear that the developers are stretched thin, and they simply cannot keep up. The fact that this game launched in this state, meaning that it's mostly stable with texture issues and slowdown problems, and to an extent I did experience a few crashes, is truly amazing and a testament to those developers' skills. I don't know how they accomplished this, but congratulations on that. The experience isn't terrible, but given the price tag, you're better off avoiding this game like it's the plague. Do not buy this game. Do not be like me. Avoid this game. Even if somehow the multiplayer is really good, still, let this serve as a protest. Do not buy this game. The campaign is absolutely terrible and an insult to the consumer in every way.